Good evening. This is CTV News. I'm Janine Samuels.
And I'm Patricia Valone. Thank you for joining us tonight. Topping our news, a former officer with Fairmont Heights finds himself on the other side of the law.
He's accused of arresting a woman for not having her driver's license and then raping her at the police station. Keisha Butts is at Fairmont Heights Police Station with the details.
A former Fairmont Heights police officer allegedly raped a woman here at this police station. Martique Vanderpool detained a woman after a traffic stop on Sheriff Road in September. While in custody, he raped her. Vanderpool is charged with rape and assault.
We found the person who was arrested during this traffic stop, and it took a bit of coaxing to get some information, but we finally determined that there might have been something that went amiss. So once I thought that there was something going wrong is when I contacted Chief Slawinski's office and said that this is my concerns and could you have Internal Affairs look into it, and then they took the ball and they went from there.
Fairmont Heights Police Chief Stephen Watkins says he's disturbed by Vanderpool's actions.
I felt terrible for the victim. I mean, how could somebody be put in a position like that where they're arrested, brought into a police facility, and then sexually assaulted by an officer that's on duty? And that's got to be one of the lowest things that a police officer can do to somebody. So I was disgusted with that, and even more disgusted at my police officer for doing something like that, violating the trust that me, the council, and the public has put into him, and he's tarnished everybody's badge.
Vanderpool was an officer for Fairmont Heights for 2 years. In Fairmont Heights, Keisha Butts, CTV News.
Vanderpool is charged with first and second-degree rape and second-degree assault. Police are asking anyone who may have experienced a similar incident with the officer to call 301-856-2660. A former bus driver sues Metro alleging sexual assault, wrongful termination, and violation of the Americans with Disabilities Act.
The lawsuit alleges that she isn't the only victim, that there is a systemic pattern that WMATA has failed to address for many years.
Someone like me who, came forward, talked about being sexually harassed, talked about also my ADA, they terminated me.
Khadijah Abel says she was wrongfully terminated from her position as a bus driver for Metro after she complained that she had been sexually harassed by 2 different supervisors.
These women workers have to go to work in fear of losing their jobs simply because they exercised their right and reported sexual harassment in the workplace.
Chris Tucker is representing Abel in a lawsuit. The case alleges that WMATA has a pattern of not only letting the so-called aggressors remain in their jobs, but often promoting them.
Women employees, they're being victimized by the males, supervisors, superintendents, assistant superintendents know about it. The reports go in and nothing is done.
And I believe now that it's just a learned behavior, which makes it comfortable for men to approach you in a way because they know once you report it, it's not going anywhere.
Linda Mercer worked as the shop steward at Metro for 17 years and was often the point person for women who had complaints against their bosses or other employees. Mercer says during her 17 years there, she kept a long paper trail of at least 20 women who had filed grievances.
I actually sat down with Paul Wiedefield face-to-face myself and brought these issues to him. The document that I created with all the women sexual harassed, and you'll see the man's name at the top. You'll see how many women that put a sexual harassment complaint against that man. I gave them that document and was only told that I bet I never show that document again.
It really bothers me that I even have to go through this, that I even had to hire an attorney to assist me with any type of litigation when Metro could have resolved it internally.
The plaintiff and her attorney are demanding a meeting with WMATA's general manager. They're calling for significant action to be taken on this issue and say they have not ruled out a class action lawsuit.
Law enforcement agencies are fighting back against a well-known gang, MS13. The FBI has announced a tip line for witnesses and victims of gang crimes. It's also launching a new public service announcement featuring a parent whose child was killed by MS13 members, explaining why it's important to come forward with any information. U.S. Attorney Robert Hur says this is a way to put an end to the fear this gang brings to communities.
I understand that some victims and witnesses who know about the gang's criminal activities do not call law enforcement because they are afraid of what MS-13 may do to them. They worry that if they cooperate with authorities, the gang will learn who they are and take revenge. And that's why we are taking the steps we're taking today.
The tip line number is 1-866-STP-MS13. That's 1-866-787-6713. Meantime, a 29-year-old member of the MS13 gang has pleaded guilty to a slew of crimes, including kidnapping, murder, extortion, and drug trafficking. Court documents indicate the crimes of Carlos Alas Brizuela go back to 2015, when he conspired with other members of the gang to perpetrate the crimes. In one instance, Brizuela and other gang members stabbed a rival gang member to death after he threw a beer at Brizuela. 28 others have been charged in this case. Brizuela faces up to 36 years behind bars when he's sentenced in February.
The Democratic presidential field is shrinking. California Senator Kamala Harris has dropped out of the race. While Harris qualified for all of the debates, her poll numbers have dropped to single digits. When Harris announced her candidacy back in January, more than 22,000 people showed up for her Oakland rally.